Hey, this is Jonathan again, and if you're continuing from the last video, this is part 3 of this series where I'm breaking down how this thing works. If you're new, this is a video description of the Enneagram module of the Integral Coach app that I'm really thrilled to share with you. So when you call in your coach in this beginning part, this is the inquiry module, it's the core module of this tool. And you're going to journal a bit first here, or skip that step. And then there's a couple of different modes built into this place right here. So you've got your experience, or you skip that step and you decided just to look at your immediate experience. If you hit the change modes button at the bottom, it's going to ask you whether or not one of these core patterns is present. And these were inspired by the Sedona method. What Hal Dwoskin realized when he was coaching people is that these patterns tend to come up a lot. And these, just having resistance to the moment, to what is, to anything, just being in resistance, and also desiring to control something, desiring for approval, desiring for security, and desiring for separation from something, and or from ourselves, from our experience. And so one of the options that this tool presents is just an opportunity to identify whether or not one of these patterns are here, and then it coaches us through that a little bit. So let's say control is here. It's going to say, okay, well, can you welcome wanting control, which is counterintuitive, but and you're going to sit with that and ask yourself, can I welcome this? And it's going to ask you, okay, can you let this go? And the idea is that wanting control, wanting approval, wanting separation, wanting security, and just having resistance in general, these are ways in which we tend to unconsciously relate to what is in a given instance. And there's a particular leverage, or there seems to be, in how we relate to the present moment. There's something going on there. So many different coaching methodologies and counseling methodologies and spiritual disciplines have us look at, okay, what's here right now for you? There seems to be a particular leverage to that. So this tool is going to invite you to relate to each of these phenomena as they arise. A desire to control something means that there's something about what is that's not okay. Kind of like an Aikido master would. If you think about, I don't know if you're familiar with Aikido, but in Aikido you move with that which is coming, right? So if there's a storm heading your way, you move with it, or if somebody's trying to rob you and they're throwing a punch, you move with it, and then exert your influence. From moving with it, you exert your influence, because if you oppose it, you're less centered and you can be knocked off balance more easily. You're more influential if you're allowing what is to be while participating in influencing it. So borrowing from Aikido in relating to the moment and our unconscious mind, we have this tool. No matter which ones of these are showing up, it's going to coach you in the same way. Eventually there'll be different modules that have you, like there'll be a way to set it so that you're just noticing. If that's your path, just noticing. A lot of paths are just noticing, just being aware, right? And other approaches and other ways of wording this. But that's what this is right now. If you flip modes again, you get the Enneagram mode. And I don't know if you noticed from the last video, but I fixed this label here. I love how I'm discovering little things that I've missed while I'm going. Anyways, these are the sort of premise of the Enneagram methodology is that there are patterns of patterns within our psyche that compose, that serve as the sort of structure of our unconscious mind. And in the Enneagram, they want to support the individual to the extent that they're ready in becoming aware of these patterns such that the essential can shine through. If we take a more kind of Sedona method, or which is inspired by Buddhism or a Buddhist approach, then these are ways of identifying unconscious patterns and then navigating them. And these are very common patterns. You'll see some of them match up with the Sedona method inspired patterns. But no matter what it is, it's going to have you welcome it. Welcome all of what it's like. So it should be noticing, okay, yeah, notice it first, and then welcome all of what it's like to be with wanting this quality, right? And then if you say no, or I don't want to, it walks you through being with resistance. And then just for this moment, can you let go of wanting perfection? Would you be willing to, and when? And then it acknowledges you, and then in the Enneagram mode, it'll ask you if you want to go deeper, and if you do, it'll just guide you to one of the other tools, and eventually we'll build this out more. But it's guiding you to flip over to the clearings tab, which we'll talk about in a bit, and have a clearing with that quality personified. And I'll explain what that means in a little bit. So that is, I think that is the Sedona method mode and the Enneagram mode in a nutshell. And you'll see I've started to put the information in here on the Enneagram, and more of that to come. But that's that in a nutshell. It's like no matter what's coming up, identifying it, identifying the unconscious draw, and then relating to it. What you can already do here that I'll just mention as kind of a segue into the clearings mode is if, let's say that what I do is, like, when I hit on wanting to be valuable, if I've got a moment, I'll have a conversation with the voice of value. I'll personify it and relate to, which is called a second person practice for all you integral theory fans. It's a relational practice, right? You personify it and you have a conversation with it. And this pattern shows up across disciplines, from psychology to spirituality. But relating to it a bit and then coming back to what's present, because there's something about intimacy with that which we have disowned about ourselves, about our nature, about our qualities. There's something about that is profound in its relevance to me as a journeyer. It's very evocative to cultivate intimacy and with these parts of ourselves, both our latent potential, right, which we're yearning for the actualization of, and our shadow, the parts of ourselves that we've repressed or denied or rejected or pushed out of our sense of who we are.